Hi.
Hi, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to any of the mothers listening.
Yes.
People who have children, people who have lost children, people who are trying to have children. Happy day to you. And I hope that you're celebrating yourself and being celebrated.
Happy aunties, happy godmoms.
Yes. Shout out to the aunties.
Right. Aunties.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I had a really interesting weekend. I okay, so I went to a restaurant and I had my backpack there and I left it there.
Oh no.
My backpack. And it's a kind of restaurant that does not open until the evening. So I had to wait all day. So I had
Yeah.
to do all every Zoom meeting I had yesterday. Well, only one. I had a real like Zoom meeting yesterday. I had to do it over my phone, and I was moderating a debate to do it over my.
Oh no, not on your phone.
Yes. So luckily, I had a printer. I have a printer right next to me, so I just printed out the questions, and I was just on my phone. But anyway, when I went to pick it up, the restaurant is in a part of Oakland on Park Street, and,
Uh-huh.
and on Park runs, I guess, through up and down through Oakland, and part of it goes uphill,
Yep.
really uphill. And so the restaurant was kind of like just at the beginning of the hilly part. For some reason, I decided I need to get my steps in. So I took a lift to the restaurant and decided to walk for 30 minutes
But
up
so
that
you want
damn
the hilly part.
up that damn hill. I did this. It was like 5:30. So I'm thinking, oh, it's kind of towards the end of the day. It's not the hardest part of the day, I'm thinking, but it was still damn hot because
Right,
that
man.
street did not have a lot of trees and the sun was just blazing down on people. But it's a nice neighborhood, right? You guys don't think it wasn't like a ghetto part. It's not. It's like lots of people with houses and that
Yeah,
have
I live
yards.
you probably weren't far from me.
Right. Oh, and yeah. So, and walking up that hill, I walked all the way to the entrance to Highway 13, which is where Montclair is.
Huh?
And I walked all the way up there and I saw something and I was like, what is this? There's like in the woods, deep in the woods, hidden, there's like a little oasis of grass and something. And I was and it's like kind of fenced off a little bit. And I was like, what is that? So I decided I wanted to walk to that place and figure out what it was. And of course, it ends up being the Montclair Golf Club. And I ended up walking all the way.
Wow.
There was a pathway, so you have to. There's all the way up the hill, and then there's like a driveway that goes down into like a canyon or some, not a canyon, but a valley or whatever. And you can see the pathway. And guess who was there? OPD, chilling. I'm like, OPD, really? You're protecting the golfers?
Chase. It was Chase.
Jeez.
He just got a job back, chilling.
Yeah, but it was like a little difficult walk. My heart was beating, not
Yes.
rapidly, but I can feel it.
Yes, I was just talking to Sandra, so there's this like hill that's like not too far from me. And I was just like, I haven't really been walking the way I should have been. I've been doing like a little bit of my like dance videos.
Right.
So I've been in it with my Beyonce dance video.
Mhm,
Really, the only thing I'm interested in, I'm going to see Beyonce in September for my birthday.
mhm.
I went to the last day of the tour in New Orleans, and I just want to be able to dance the whole tour. I just want to be able to dance the whole set. Right now, that would not be possible, but I'm getting there. I'm
You're getting
getting
there, you're getting there. It'll be
because
good.
3 hours is
You know
a
it?
lot.
But then
Uh,
I think adrenaline and excitement will also get you through. So even if you're not 100% there now, once you're training yourself, and then once you get there, that adrenaline is gonna come through, maybe a little drinky drink, you're gonna be ready and
right.
it's gonna be fun.
It's
So
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's like funny because when we got our tickets, we were like, listen, we're old, so we need to like have the option of a seat.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah, you need to have a seat there.
Yes. So basically there's like a pit where you stand, right? Like that's right in front of us. And then
Uh-huh.
we are like the first section of seats that's like up. I was like, yep, that's right. That's where I like to be at.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm excited for that. But I was saying I should take this walk. I was like, but I feel like I'm gonna be embarrassed trying to do this hill. Like I feel like I'm gonna be like, okay, halfway up, gotta stop.
Hey, that's fine. You got to do it. But the thing is about Park Street is there's not a lot of sidewalks. So when you're doing like when I was walking, cars were looking at me. So it may be slightly embarrassing, but I didn't care. Because that's a hill. And the reason why I walked was because I knew I was going to be embarrassed on my bike. The funny thing about
Oh,
walking is that you're walking and your body's, the gravity's not, pulling you down. But when you're on a bike, the gravity will pull you down because of the wheels unless you keep pedaling. If you stop pedaling, you'll go backwards.
right, right.
That is like no, I knew I couldn't handle that. So I was like, I better walk because it's what I can at least when I'm walking, I can stop and not fall backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm. But I
So
did
that's been our week. That's
But
what
no, I want to talk about one other thing.
Mhm.
Finally watched Queen Charlotte.
Oh, same. I did too.
Oh my god. Why do I fall in love with the man of all the shows? No matter what they do. Like immediately I saw him, I was like, oh, he's so handsome.
Oh, he's really cute. He
I was
is
like,
really,
I
really
would
cute.
yeah, I would date him. Totally. And I usually don't go for, but I would date him.
No, he is very, very cute.
Mhm.
Um, I mm, I don't want to make people mad. I didn't like it.
I didn't like what he was going through, but
You know what? That's the thing. So I had tweeted about the show because I tweeted out because first of all, I was like, I'm not gonna have Bridgerton Twitter coming after me. Like people think soap Twitter is serious.
okay.
Mess around on Bridgerton Twitter. Don't do it to yourself. Is all I'm telling you. Do not like Bridgerton Twitter will come for you. It's Bridgerton Twitter is serious.
Mhm.
So I tweeted, and this is all true. I just tweeted the positive things because I actually really like this cast. So I
Yeah.
said the cast was phenomenal. The chemistry between the leads, magical. I mean, instant chemistry between those two.
Right.
So good. Young Lady Danbury blew me away.
She was my
She was everything.
I'd
Um,
date her too if I did.
I mean, stunning. She's
She's
gorgeous.
stunning. Yes.
Gorgeous. Young Queen Charlotte, or young, like what she was able to do as an actress was so good because
Mhm.
she already had this character. And she like both her and Lady Danbury had these characters that we knew and loved.
Right.
And then they were able to like both capture, like you could see how they could be those people, and they were able to like also capture and create something different. As
Mhm.
an actor, I would imagine that's probably one of the hardest things to do where you're like not doing where you're like doing justice to the original but also making it your own.
Right.
So good. And I didn't know how much I was gonna love Brimsley.
Right.
I was like, oh, so good. So I think that what saved it and what made it watchable for me was like the people.
Mhm.
I mm, so the story. Here's the thing. In the first Bridgerton, in season one, we had like a throwaway line about like why there were black people there.
Mhm.
And I thought it was dumb when I heard it. I was like, what are you talking about? But it was like a throwaway kind of scene between Lady Danbury and the Duke.
Mhm.
And then you didn't really have to deal with it anymore. You were able to then like live within the kind of majesty of the world of Bridgerton, like it didn't really come up again.
Right.
And so to build the premise of the show around that, like it took me out of the fantasy of it.
Mhm.
So there were parts that I found enjoyable for sure, but I just am not part of the people who think it was better than the first 2 seasons.
I think it's interesting that it took you out of the fantasy of it because all of that was fantasy.
Right.
that was the that was especially the race issues in itself was fiction.
Yeah.
Hella fiction. Even though there's like supposedly research that Queen Charlotte was had some mix in her, it's not verified. So everything that was there was fiction. And it's funny that, them talking about it took you out of the fantasy because they were actually, except for the race stuff, they were is really kind of based off of fact.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's interesting because, like, fucking George, like, it's just like as a historical figure, right?
Right. But
But
yeah.
this guy and like the way they portrayed him like really gave you this like care and like concern for him. Like the storytelling was just like very beautiful. But I actually I didn't need as much trauma as what they were giving.
Yeah, that was so hard. So hard to watch. I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
I
I
know
didn't
you gotta think about that's what they did because they did not know about mental health, and that's what they
Mhm,
did to people,
mhm.
and I kind of felt like one of the, it's like I hate it when they call it trauma porn, but basically like when you kind of feel like you're responsible to watch it because that's what happened, but then it was very difficult, and that's why a lot of times I don't watch a lot of stuff because it's too painful for me. And for this series I just committed to it and was like, okay, let me watch this, but I closed my eyes. I was like, no, and he was screaming and stuff, and I was like, oh. And it just really
No, let
more
him
like,
go. I would also say that I think the portrayal kind of like trigger warning. And so when I do this, I'll put like a spoiler warning like for this section. But I think for me, I didn't need all that marital rape. And like for it to be portrayed in the way that it was, because it was kind of just portrayed of this writer that I follow named Nyla Burton wrote an article about it.
Mhm.
But it was like it was portrayed as just like bad sex or whatever, when it's like actually that's not what this was. Like she was like hurt. And like for it to kind of be a throwaway or like used as like this joke actually wasn't funny. And so like I've read the books too. And so
Mhm.
the thing that's like the thing about this world is that Queen Charlotte and all like the queen is not really in the books.
Right, yeah, she's fictional. Not
Yeah.
she's not fictional in the sense that she was a real person, but she wasn't in the books.
Yeah, like they mentioned like something with the queen, but she wasn't like a presence. She wasn't doing like, all the things they have her doing. Obviously the books they were all white. There was not like this race element in the books. And then so it was just like part of what I think about if you are like a Bridgerton fan aside from Queen Charlotte, I think about like I've always been like, I don't know what I'm gonna do about season 3 because I don't really like Penelope.
Mm.
Um, I think that, what she did to Marina was really messed up. I think that like season 2 for her was like not great. And so it's like weird because they're trying to make it seem like this big experiment is basically like a generation outside of
Mhm.
like all of these people. And I think that they didn't mean to do this, which is worse actually, that it feels like Penelope has a problem with black women.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like she was like targeting Queen Charlotte,
Mhm.
knowing that like this great experiment could
Mhm.
fail if they didn't like continue
Right,
their line. So like here you are targeting this black queen, knowing what it means,
right.
and targeting Marina in season 1. And so it's like I'm sure that that's not what they meant to do. Like I'm sure that it wasn't, like meant to. I don't think they probably didn't even think about it that way. But as
Mhm.
a viewer who already was having a hard time with this character, I'm like, so now I'm gonna watch season 3, and then what? I'll be looking at her like, You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't, I don't know. So and I feel like I would have liked what I would have liked, it would have made me like it more, is if we would have had less time of him being tortured and more time of them being together.
Right.
Because their chemistry is so fire, and
So
it feels unfortunate that we didn't get more time with the two of them together on screen.
right.
So those are my things, like the trauma of it all and the fact that we just like didn't get more. But the actors, everybody did just an amazing job, magnificent job.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm. I don't think I'll be watching it again because the first seasons of Bridgerton, like it was on a loop for me. I was like, yes, because the first season came out, it was like the pandemic, so it was just like definite
Yeah,
or like deep in the pandemic, and you wasn't going nowhere. Everything was closed, so that was just on a loop.
right.
And then I loved Cantony, and I didn't think that I was going to be able to think that the characters were going to be able to have the same chemistry as a Cantony, and I was like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
y'all did that.
Yeah. I actually, what do I have on the loop? I have Star Wars and I have Batman on a loop. I don't like,
Yeah.
but yeah, and the Avengers on a loop. I don't usually do these things on a loop, but I
Yeah.
do binge watch it like front to back. So,
Mhm.
but anyway,
Yeah,
we got
we'll
to
end that. I'll put up a spoiler warning for people.
yes,
Uh,
because we really went in depth on this. It's 2 o'clock.
and we didn't even need to. It was not in our notes.
It was not in our note.
Not.
Sorry, y'all. Half an hour on Bridgeton. Crazy.
But yeah, but one of the things that we did want to talk about is the passing of a legend. Jackie Zeman passed away this week. It was really sad. General Hospital as a cast and a crew has had a lot of loss this year. And for me, like the loss of Jackie as Bobby feels really personal because I love that character. And by all accounts, this actress was also a great person, which is beautiful to hear. Her daughters put up a lot of stuff on her Twitter page and her Instagram page that people should check out. And the cast has done really beautiful tributes. So Tonya, what do you would like to give you space to say whatever you like to say?
Yeah, it's really sad. I I liked Bobby. She wasn't necessarily like my like if people ask like who are your favorite characters, I never really would pick Bobby, but then I just remembered all the storylines that she was involved in. So I guess she wasn't necessarily like um my generation, but she had always been on.
Mhm.
Um and one thing I appreciated about her was like my favorite storylines with her were obviously um which is basically pivotal for a lot of people was the story with the death of Barbara Jean. Um Also when Carly came into town. I think that was when I was first really getting to know Bobby as a character. It was when Carly came into town, but then also I really really appreciated the work that she did involved with Elizabeth's rape. um which, looking back on hindsight, some of the advice that she gave probably wouldn't have been the best, but the caring and the nurturing of it I really won't ever forget, because that was like really my first storyline, really seeing rape portrayed on television, and how supportive she was of Liz really made that impression upon me. And so she was always just like the best auntie, I think. you know um so, and she was gorgeous, and now learning about how sweet she was from all of the cast, everyone had said great things about her, and in particular, like they said that she never had a bad word to say about anybody, that she was always positive. And I think John Lindstrom even talked about she was a little scrappy because she was from Jersey. So like people try to come to her and she'd be like, "Is that all you got?" And he said that in a like a Jersey accent. I can't do it. But basically she was scrappy and she was but super sweet. And I like that because I kind of see, oh, I probably would have really liked her because I'm kind of a little bit like that.
You're very much like that.
Uh, so yeah, so we probably would have loved to have met her in person. And it's really devastating to know that, she, we don't know a lot, but apparently she passed away from cancer. And I actually, it's devastating because a classmate of mine also passed away from cancer. And so cancer is just horrible, horrible. And we really need to invest in dealing with it. But
Yeah.
prayers for her family and friends and the castmates who, like you said, are dealing with a lot, a lot of lost within their team. So
Yeah. I would say, there are sometimes when things happen and there's like an obligatory, you gotta post something, you gotta say something, and you can tell when that is the case, and that is not the case now. Like folks are actually devastated, and I think and like have just really beautiful things to say about her. And I think that's like such a testament. It's not like oh, well, let me figure out what to say about this thing. It's like, no, people are like really pouring their hearts into these tributes, and I think that's really beautiful. um, I didn't start watching GH until like '03, so everything that like a lot of the stuff that I had seen from her, I
Mhm.
like went back on like YouTube and saw. Um,
Yeah.
so the first thing I really remember like watching live for myself was when Tony Jones passed, and like seeing the relationship that I knew I had read about it, but I hadn't watched it, like the relationship between her and Carly.
Mhm.
And so obviously it was a couple Carlys ago that had happened, but it was played out between her and Laura Wright. And I just thought that that was like really a beautiful display of like healing from family.
Mhm.
Um, and then like you, I mean, I didn't watch it live, but I went back and watched the story with Liz. I've like watched the whole thing, and I also was like very struck by like how caring she was to her, because if you know anything about the way women are treated in the system, it's not caring. Like it's just very much not.
Yeah.
And so to have seen that for like just like this really amazing story rolled out between these two women and the bond between them, it's really clear that both Jackie and Becky like put their all into it.
Mhm.
And so just feel really grateful to have watched that unfold and watch these two like powerhouse women um put their all into a story like that. So definitely going to be missed. Definitely um keeping the cast and the crew and the people who are close to her in my thoughts, because it's not easy. But I'm really happy that she was able to get her flowers from GH while she was still alive. The nurse's ball story, which is going to be her last story, um, just really pay tribute to her.
Right.
Um, as an actress, as a staple, and as like someone who, had it not been for her and Luke and Laura and Scotty, like we wouldn't even have a show to talk about. Like they are the reasons that the light stayed on at GH. And so um sad to see her go. And like I said, holding her family and people who loved her really close.
Yeah, I was just like, and then I was so happy that she also got to be a part of those wedding scenes,
Yeah.
really celebrating Spencer women. When Laura Wright showed those photos, I was just like, but yeah, happy that they got that time together.
Yeah. Rest well, Jackie Z. So we talked about a lot, and we have not talked about the show. But that's okay because I did not really take a lot of notes this week. I was not only was I not swept, I'm pretty dusty this week actually. Um so
And you might not agree with some of the thoughts I had, but
maybe not. Well, let's see. Let's
we'll
see what
see.
happens. I
Yeah.
need to give you the recap.
Right.
All right. As expected, Spencer survives the drones to the haunted star. He had a very sweet reunion with Trina and headed back to Port Charles with his girlfriend. It's official, y'all. Baby Ace, Laura, and Curtis. Trina talks with Taggart, who we found out had been detained through the whole ordeal, to tell him that she had decided to take a paternity test. Because I have been wondering where Taggart was.
Right.
Apparently, he was detained because he was turning up on them, which not good enough, but glad they at least told us something.
Yeah.
Portia remains steadfast that Trina needs to stay away from Spencer, and Taggart becomes the next person in a long line of people to tell her she will push Trina away if she keeps acting like this. Curtis gets a job offer from the WSB, despite the fact that the mob runs a good portion of the Savoy. Cody, your fave, convinces Selena Wu to let him remain part of her high stakes card games, and Gladys doubles down on her lie that he stole her bracelet. The SEC greet Drew at the hospital and take him in for questioning. Diane handles his case this one time because Sam called, but she will remain on as Carly's lawyer, and Drew retains a Quartermain lawyer. At the Q house, Ned maintains that he did not turn in Drew and Carly before and after Drew punches him in the face. Also having a bad day, Diane, who
Right.
walks in on Robert and Holly kissing, and Robert's excuse is like, "Hey, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? They be kissing me." Like I was really mad at Robert for that. Anyway, Liesl does her bone marrow donation and has a conversation with Willow, letting her know that they are family and that it is up to Willow what she will do about Nina. Ava convinces Nina not to tell anyone she gave the tip to the SEC because it's supposed to be anonymous. Chase is back at work and receives a call from Tracey Q to everyone's confusion. Tracey tells BLQ that she has to go back to working at Deception, or else she will tell Chase that she pulled strings to make him a cop again. Oh, great. BLQ is being blackmailed again. Sasha must go back to the site of one of the worst days of her life because Maxie has a sinus infection. Sonny is apparently an arms dealer, but he's a good guy arms dealer. If you're not watching and you're listening, know that I rolled my eyes. Uh, Joss and Dex go public with their relationship, but Michael tells Dex he will not use the evidence he collected against Sonny and that Dex should just leave town. And that is pretty much our week.
I think my favorite day was Tuesday because I had a lot of comments on it. It was okay. I'm not dusty, but I wasn't swept. So I feel like we're back to regular schmegular. So I wasn't swept, but there were some moments that I had that I really liked. So I
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for me, there were moments I had, there were scenes I had that I really liked.
Mhm.
Um, but I was so annoyed at most people this week. I was just annoyed. But my favorite moment, I mean, I don't know what tops Trina running and jumping into Spencer's arms. Did
Yeah, that
you
was
see that Peter Reckle like tweeted about it?
Peter who?
Peter Bow from Bow and Hope,
I
the
didn't know
super couple. Like he was just like, yeah, this was amazing. Like when half of Bo and Hope tells you that you're doing a great job,
Yeah,
say
that's
something.
pretty cool.
You couldn't tell me nothing after that. I'd be like, oh yeah, Bo said I did a great job. Obviously.
That's good. Yeah, I love that. That jump was amazing.
Did you know Nicholas said that was improv?
Really?
That Tabiana improv did.
She was
And
just
so
like, but
yeah. So you really have to think about what kind of trust they've been able to build with each other as scene partners to
like,
like plunge yourself in somebody and jump on them. Like that's like amazing. And for him to like pick it up, like that's why I think that it was so good. Tabiana's instincts were, and we talked about this about her. Her instincts were so good that she was able to do it. Just so like for me, that's like my favorite moment between them. Period. Since like Sprina 2.0 has started,
mhm.
um, and so to know that like that was like from Tabiana's brain, I was like, you go, girl.
I don't know if it was from her brain. If she watches her show, she knows that what I've been wanting was her to jump into his arms and wrap her legs around him, and that's what happened. So,
Yes, I'm sure Tabiana was like, Tonya from Sunday Show said I should.
she did. Yeah. Yes, they all are listening to our show and taking notes and acting accordingly. No, that's probably not. But yes, I finally got to see that scene. I was so happy. I was like, okay, I'm done now. You can take me out of the oven because I'm done. It was great. I also had some other scenes that I liked.
Tell
Uh,
me.
I really liked the crew reunion. What I liked about it was okay, so they're in the hospital and Drew comes out of the elevator and everyone's like, yay, Drew's here, Liesel's here. Nina goes and talks to Liesel and all this little hullabaloo happening. But what you can see is Drew and Carly looking at each other. They're having eye conversation. Carly's like, oh, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad you're safe. She was like, I love you. I miss you. I'm glad you're here. I can't wait to see you. They look like they're restraining themselves from running up and hugging each other because they couldn't hug each other because at the time they still thought that they had to keep their relationship a secret. So it was all eye communication and I was feeling it. I loved it. And I'm not necessarily the biggest crew fan, but I felt that. I felt that chemistry in that hallway in that reunion. So I had to give props to Laura Wright and Cameron Matheson for that because I loved it. They're not gonna. It's not my favorite performance list, but it was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah. I mean, I really like crew. I've wanted Cameron Matheson and Laura Wright paired in some way. I've talked about this before since they did the like crossover what ifs like a couple years ago where they were like Carly and Ryan Lavery in the elevator.
Mhm.
I just think, I think they just survive off of chemistry and vibes. They surely don't survive off a good story. It's just
Yeah,
good
they're
vibes, you know what I'm saying?
all
But
about
so I did also enjoy that. I cracked up. I was like, who cut Cameron Matheson's hair? I was like, at least like somebody, it was I think a person I talked to named Holly was like, did Liesel cut like Drew's hair on the seaplane? Like
You know what? Like it just goes to show how little I pay attention to Cameron Matheson because I did not notice he had a haircut. I was just like, huh. I just like the reunion.
and can I also say this? I hate that shirt that Carly is wearing. I hate it so much. I was like, Carly is in her poor girl era with this shirt, but but she still got rich bitch hair. Like she can't help
You will
it.
always have the best hair ever. And you know what I hate about it is like I always try to copy her haircut and I can never pull it off. I'm just like, I don't know. I literally bring her photos to my hairdresser. I was like, can you do this? And for some reason it just never happens. It's the bane of my existence. But yeah, Laura Wright and her hair is just amazing. So I will segue if you unless you have another favorite moment, I will
Well,
segue.
oh, I do.
Huh?
I did really actually like the scene between Sam and Nina. Because
That too.
I mean, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this later, but
Right.
I feel like they tried to gloss over a lot of Nina's history
Mhm.
when they changed actresses. And it
Right.
was really funny. I don't know. You have to go back and watch like Mo did a state of mind. So he's doing like a series with the Emmy nominees or whatever. And so he did one with Chad. And so Chad, who plays Michael. And so Chad is like talking to him and they're like talking about their storyline. And Chad's like running it down. And so he goes, well, you know, Nell is Nina's daughter. And Mo is like, Nell's Nina's daughter? And I was like, wait a second, Mo, how do you not? And Chad is even like, you have to know this.
Like,
You-
dude, that's like the whole reason why everyone hates Tina.
like, what are you? And so then he like goes on and he was and, like he said something like, you know, she did this thing, she did this, and he was like, oh, that's a different actress. Most of it twice, like, oh, well, that doesn't matter because it's a different actress. And I really do feel like they try to do this as a vibe, like when Nina's a different actress, so therefore it doesn't matter.
Matter,
And
yeah.
it's actually so untrue. So I liked the scene. I liked that Sam, you know, one thing about Sam won't keep that same energy.
Mhm.
That's what I like about her. When Sam, like for example, when Sam was done messing with Julian, she was done messing with Julian. Period. Um,
It was on site. Like, what are you doing here? Every time he shows up,
every time.
every single time.
So I like love that. I really wish that they would have used her more during this cancer storyline. I wish they would have used her more during, obviously, I really wish for, this is like going on a tangent, but I even wish for like the Cassadine story when they were in Greenland, they also had like a operation in Port Charles that her and Dante were like heading up. Like I am really frustrated with the lack of Sam and Dante, but I did like that the scene that Sam and Dante had after she talked to Nina, where she actually had a little bit of point of view about what was going on.
Mhm.
Because so often when we see Sante, it is either of them, it's really all about how other people are feeling. They are being sounding boards, they are, but we don't get any insight to them.
Mhm.
And so I really enjoyed having a little bit of insight into Sam, and like her talking with Dante about this history that she has with Nina because it's important. Like
Mhm.
Nina was crazy to Sam over Silas.
Mhm.
Um,
And I forgot about it, and so I'm glad she brought it.
yeah, right. But like that's
Yeah,
the thing.
because it was
Have
different.
these like I
Yeah,
anyway, I'll get into that later. I really loved seeing Sam in both of those scenes. Obviously, always love a Sante scene because these cuties just love to drop that drop that little uh Kim fairy dust.
yeah.
Um and they're like, listen, we don't get much time together, but when we are on screen together, you gonna know we like each other and you gonna know we'd rather be at home with each other. So I really liked those scenes with Sam. Give us performer of the week.
So, y'all, one of the scenes that really got to me emotionally, because it's all about emotion. If somebody can make me cry, oh my God, that's it. And I know you're gonna say something about it, Tracey, but basically, when Nina went begging to Carly, that brought a tear to my eye. And like I can see your face, you're like eye rolling. Now I know, but it like Cynthia Watros pulled it out of me. Okay, she's in the hallway. She's like, "I'm sorry. I know it was horrible to Willow. I know I shouldn't be blaming you for why Willow is sick, and I'm coming to you and I'm asking, Carly, will you help me?" And I was just like, "Aw." But then it got ruined almost immediately. But I have to give it to Cynthia Watros. She pulled some emotion out of me, and she's really great at what she does and making us all kind of side eye. Not all, some people are really fans of Nina, but for the most part, I think she's doing a great job. I'm gonna have to give her props.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
don't like Nina. I've
right.
never had a problem with Cynthia Watros, and I think
Right.
that she does what she does very well.
My other, which you might really like, is my other performers of the week are Little J and Joey Clay. Little baby Ace, because that baby was acting his ass off. And I know he probably wasn't even realizing what he was doing, but the chemistry that baby has with like the first date with Valentine, with Trina and Spencer. Oh
Yes.
my God. That baby,
Ace
those
is my baby.
babies are just amazing. Oh my God. I felt, I'm like, I want that baby. And it was the funny thing is folks were like side eyeing the choice just because of how old those babies are and that he's huge. But I can see why they chose him because he's good.
Like,
They
how is he so
are good.
good?
They are
How
so
it's weird how good he is. Like he's so good.
like he's connecting with the characters. He'll play with their fingers. He'll look at them intently. Just like amazing.
I've never seen a baby that good.
Right.
I mean, I love me some Wheezy Faison.
Right, we do because of the side eyes.
I did.
She
I
was
did.
looking at everybody like they were crazy, and rightfully so. But he's connecting with these characters, all of
Yeah.
them.
Even when he was with Esme and like he like touched her face, it was
Yeah,
like it was almost like Mom, I missed you kind of thing. It was like very. I was like, why is this baby giving?
like he like the conversation Trina was having with him. There was a meme out there where like Trina was talking to him about Spencer, and someone put a meme out there and was like, "Forget Spencer, you're with me." Like that's what he was saying. He's like, "I don't know about this Spencer business, but you're mine because you're pretty and I like you." And I was like,
That's really
"That's so
funny.
great." And even James Patrick Stewart, he actually tweeted about it.
Mm.
Tweeted about little baby Ace. It was like the chemistry that he had with Trina. It was like so cool. And he said that he had a great time holding, like he was holding him for a minute. And it was like, yeah, everybody was like, yeah, baby Ace is amazing. So I want to give a shout out to the twins,
Yeah,
babies, because they
they're
are.
very cute. They're very, very cute. Another person who bought it out, but I thought was really good was Willow, or was Katie McCullough. I thought
Yeah,
I've been annoyed by the storyline just because of the way it's gone, but I thought like the scene that she had with Liesel was really great.
thank
She's
God.
done a great job of playing sick.
Yeah.
And actually like making me feel something for her in the moment,
Mhm,
despite my annoyance at the story. um
mhm.
and so yeah, I thought that she did excellent. I actually it is unfortunate that the story is not better because she's giving a great performance, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, what works? What is working? I want to go first. I was
Please.
actually pleasantly surprised at the scenes with Valentine and Trina. I didn't know if um Jane PS and Tabiana had ever been in scenes together, but I thought that they had great chemistry.
Mhm.
Not that I want them to be, put together in different scenarios all the time.
Oh no.
Moment, he was talking with Trina like she was, an adult, and he was being respectful. Um, and she has great chemistry with everybody. So I just thought those scenes were nice, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting pairing.
Yeah. What I think that what you said is totally right about Tabiana as an actress. Like, you really can't put her with anybody that she doesn't have a good scene with.
Right.
Um, I love her relationship with Hat Daddy. I love it with TJ. And I thought it was really interesting that when she talked to Taggart, for example, about doing the paternity test, I think Taggart played that very well also.
Yeah.
'Cause you could tell like he was like supportive, but also like was like had his feelings about it.
Mhm.
Um, but she was like, TJ can be related to me, you know, c- um, Marshall could be my grandfather, like Stella could be my aunt, and like really thinking through like the family connection shit she would get if Curtis was like her biological father.
Mhm.
So I do think that like she just brings magic to those like scenes with those scene partners. So I
Mhm.
definitely agree. I liked her with JPS. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, I don't know where Anna is, and I would have liked to see Anna with JPS, like with Valentine. Where's
Yeah,
my girl?
where was Anna all week? That's probably why it wasn't such a good week.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. It was, where's Anna? Yeah, they were like, she went to go get whatever. I forgot where they said they put her, sent her to
Oh,
go get debriefed. I'm like, shouldn't she go back to the hospital?
yeah. Cause she just yeah.
She just tore her arm cuff off and ran off to save Bay. I want to see her back in bed.
Right.
I would like to see him spoon feeding her soup and making sure she's okay. You know. Anyway, working for me. Did I even write anything down? So much was not working for me this week. It was I was so annoyed with the week. I think the young adults always work for me. I think just like the fact that Trina and Spencer are actually together now is working for me. I would like to see what the next iteration of like Sprina is. I hope that it's not all about this baby, despite how cute the baby is. I'm not really interested in like their whole next arc being about like a custody battle.
Mhm.
So want to see what their couple era looks like and how they work together. Um,
I feel like
that's oh,
it's gonna be all about Portia and her hatred.
I want to see. I want to hold what I want to hold what I want to see.
Mhm.
Um, I thought Jex was cute this week. I thought Wiley was like cute. Like this is Josh's friend
Yeah,
Dex.
he was like, "This is her friend."
um, yeah, I thought that Michael's side eye was hilarious. Like, oh,
He's like, "Okay."
bringing sex with you. Okay. It was just so I just thought the young adults were good. I'm looking forward to a Trina and Joss reunion to like see how they talk and like because Joss has not told Trina like everything about Dex. She's
No.
she's like held a lot back. So I'm interested to see what she like does tell her. I'm interested to see like I want Joss so be I want her to be supportive about Spencer for Trina this time. I think that it's right that she's like apprehensive. I think that Portia, everybody is right in their apprehension, but this is what she's doing. This is like her man. This is who she's with. I would like to see. I think that it's right that Portia does whatever Portia does, but I would like to see Joss be like happy that Trina's back and being like, okay, I mean, be careful, but I support you kind of thing, which
Mhm.
with Spencer. So the young adults work for me. What about you? What did not work for you? I
Do
already
I
know.
have to say it? I mean, like, do I have to say it? Cody never works, ever. Never,
Uh-huh.
ever, 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 never. Um, and you know what? I'm not liking Gladys right now. But it really goes to, the actress Bonnie Burrows because again, she's amazing and she portrays like when she's caring and she's fun, it's awesome. Right now, her trying to blame everybody and cover her tracks and keeping Sasha from progressing, I didn't like that. But don't like Cody either. So, and I don't like that Selena Wu's interaction is mainly between Cody and Gladys. I don't like that. I want her to have her own thing going, like maybe, coming in and throwing Sonny under the bus for being an arms trader and then just swooping in and taking over his territory. That's what should be her story, not babysitting Cody and Gladys. I do not like that. So that's not
Nope.
working. Also, I kind of felt weird. I mean, I love the scene between Liesel and Willow, but I kind of felt weird that Liesel was just walking around the hospital after she just did a bone marrow transplant.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, there's some minor discomfort, but it's okay because I hate it when doctors tell you, oh, this will just, make you uncomfortable, or it'll be like a pinch. It's no big deal. Stuff is painful, and they need to be truthful about that. Now, that might make people hesitate to do stuff, but no, y'all need to stop lying to your patients and saying stuff don't hurt, because it hurts. It hurts like hell.
I
And
particularly
huh?
I thought it was particularly bad for like a hospital show.
Right.
At the very least, put her in a wheelchair.
Here.
Like
Right.
she should not be walking around after a bone marrow donation.
Because that's like a big ass needle going into your bone. Sorry, y'all. Trigger warning. But it's just like it's not a simple minor discomfort
No.
thing. Um so I didn't that didn't work for me. And yeah, Sunny really going in on the arms dealing, not liking it. And last week I was hopeful that he was, secretly working with the FBI or whatever, but if they're going that route, they're taking too long showing it. But right now he seems to be, all in, even though he's like, I don't know, I'm not interested. Yeah, you are. You want the money. And that's why you're really getting all into the details of it, and you want to do this and I don't like it, and so there.
So here's what this is the part that's not working for me. That they actually don't let people be bad. So like Sunny, like, so they're now basically, it was funny. Tara was like, is Sunny basically like Iron Man now? Like, what is going on? Because they tried to like say that he is like essentially like what Valentine was kind of suggesting is like they're giving it to like forces like Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, so like that was like the suggestion of like where the weapons were going. And it was like, no, you don't get to be like some kind of like supposed hero after this when you were just like trafficking these weapons and you didn't know. But this is the thing that happens with a character like Sunny, where they have him do stuff and then all of a sudden we're supposed to forget it because the way storytelling always works is like the stuff they want you to remember, they keep hammering. This is why we have to hear the letters SEC 25,000 times a episode. Like they hammer in. So like just like you were saying that you forgot about some of the history between Sam and Nina, like that was on purpose. Because they don't talk about it. And so with Sunny, like he does things and they don't talk about it. Like Dex talking about Sunny putting him on a meat hook. This was the first time we had heard that since it happened.
And then we haven't heard about him beating somebody up and putting him in the trunk.
Exactly.
Like he did that.
Or like there's or even I mean it's just like all of these things we haven't heard about him because they're trying to like make Michael more unreasonable. We like Michael never found out, for example, about what Sunny did during the custody hearing.
Oh yeah, with Brad.
Right, like or yeah, with not custody, but with Brad's parole hearing.
Right.
Like those kind of things get swept under the rug because they don't make certain characters look good. So like you have like Nina's wildin'. And like let's just say she named she did it because she was jealous. But now all of a sudden, and this is why it's hard for me with her character to even feel bad, because it just feels triggering to me, which is like she does really awful things and then starts crying about it. And then everybody like that is like the urge that people have to feel bad for her because now she's crying. And I think that that's like a little bit of why people don't care for Carly, because like that's not her urge. Like
don't be crying over stuff.
right, and that's actually one of the reasons I like her. Like she gets knocked down and then like she like claws her way back up, but it's not a whole lot of crying when it happens. And with Nina it's all that. And so she does this thing, and then instead of like the show allowing her to just be like, yeah, I did that shit, it has to be Ava who has to like be the devil on her shoulder, who's like, yeah, like what you did was fine.
Well, no, Ava's like, what you did was messed up, but you did it, so move on.
But like also like trying to like justify it, like, oh well, they committed a crime, which is true. I'm not even tripping on that. They did, but you called the SEC on them from your boyfriend's mob compound. So clearly you
Right.
don't care about the law.
Yeah.
Ava, sis, you got a whole body to worry about.
She does. That's what the funny thing is like she said something like, "At least you didn't bury a body" or something like that. And then Ava's like, "Yeah, because that's what you did. You got a body yourself that you need to be worried about."
Like, so it's just, it doesn't like so then and that's like why everything was just like so irritating to me this week. It was like, um, Carly, girl, you and Drew K had the same lawyer. What are you
Right?
talking
That
about?
was
Like, this is
that was
stupid.
crazy.
This is dumb. Like, what are we saying? Or like Dex, who's like, well, the options were this and this. Dex, it was always for you to leave.
Yeah, you made that
You
choice.
thought, like, because even if Sonny would have gone to jail, you
You got
couldn't have stayed in town.
right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like annoyed by that like arc. Like, I was annoyed that I had to see Valentine with Sonny and not with Anna. I was annoyed. Like, it was just like
Like,
I
where's
was
that?
annoyed. I was annoyed at like Trina for being like, the reason I was gonna do this is because I saw Spencer with his brother. I was annoyed that was written for her. I want Trina. I want Sprina to be a couple, and I want Trina to be a full character outside of that couple. Like, I don't want her to only be talking about Spencer, while Spencer gets this story that's like custody and his family, and because that's where we're headed, right? I mean, not necessarily with Trina stuff. We don't know where we're headed with her, but we're headed with Spencer is like Dark Cassadine. We're headed with like
Right.
his family stuff that like with his brother. Like we are headed to like a story with Trina. I actually don't, and he's gonna also be in this relationship. I don't actually know what story we are headed to with Trina. It is important to me that she's a full character in addition to her relationship with him. Um,
Yeah, she should be making decisions about her family outside of Spencer.
yeah,
Like
it didn't
you
make any
said,
sense.
it
Like,
shouldn't be like I was thinking about it because of Spencer did this and how she was looking like she wanted to leave the hospital with Spencer, and Spencer was like, "You should probably stay with your family." I'm
I,
like, "You
I
should
was
want to stay with
also
your family."
I was also annoyed at the little pat that he gave her at the end. Like that was very weird to me. I was like, what is happening?
Well, apparently, I mean, yeah, because it sounded like he was too hesitant to actually be in the relationship with her in front of their family. Like he ain't there yet.
Well, I don't necessarily know if it's that. I like for me, the way I thought about it was he was worried. Like it's two things. So I don't think he's like worried about being with her in front of the family because like Laura's already seen it, whatever. I think he's nervous that her family doesn't like him.
Right. Yeah, that kind.
Yeah, and I think that there was also like just him being kind of petulant about Esme and the baby and going home and then Laura called or whatever. But to your point, like how we saw with Crew, like this kind of like gazing across the room, like I would have preferred that with Sprina,
Yeah.
right? Like even I don't know, do you remember when Spencer like renounced his title and like it was almost like he picked up Trina's hand but didn't really know what to do with it and then left. I would have preferred something like that because I think that that might have been what they were trying to convey, that he just kind of didn't know what to do, so he did this weird thing. But I would have liked for it to have been more like connected and heartfelt than like this good game pal like shoulder tap he gave her. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Especially because we had gone from like having to wait like a year like a year and a half for them to kiss, and then for them to just be kissing all the time to that. I was like, wait a second. I mean, I do know that there's like some stuff coming up where like they're together and like he's supporting her. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I just think that, or I don't think that there's like this is like indicative of like a setback in their relationship. I just, like let's make the most of all the time that they're on screen together because we want like this is one of the signature couples of the show. Like
Right.
we want the like longing and the angst. We want them to make the most of every time they're together. And that was not that. So I was like,
Yeah. So, do you have any hot takes? Hot takes.
um, Robert Scorpio,
Oh gosh.
bro.
Ah, I hated that for Diane. Ugh.
I hated that for me. Like, it was just,
Like I didn't need to see that.
but like he was just like, she kissed me. Robert, you leaned all the way into that.
All the way. He
I
irritated.
am not trying to hear Robert Scorpio be in the center of a love triangle in 2023. No.
Right. Um, my hot take. A lot of them were stuff that we already talked about. I guess for Tuesday I had like, damn, was SEC just stalking Drew? Just like literally he comes out of the he comes out of the elevator and there was the SEC. And then but I also had like I was laughing out loud at how much Liesel was coming to his defense in front of Nina.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, he's such a hero. He did this and he saved my life and he's just this and Nina was just feeling hella guilty. I love that. It was hilarious.
I laughed because part of it is that, like, one, I was like, Drew didn't really do that much. Like,
Right.
that was like the first thing.
She was like, she was putting like 100 on a 10, not like a 20, 100. 100 bill on a $10. And but it was just funny how she was doing it in front of Nita.
And then that's really funny because it was like so extra. I was like, Drew, kind of. I mean, he was all right, but he didn't really do too much. They had Curtis in there looking like black action hero. You know what I mean? And Drew,
Okay, that's another thing that's not working for him. Me. Why is Curtis now like WSB material all of a sudden? I'm like, no. No, because they need to address the fact that he has a gambling ring in his his club. And that it doesn't sound like the WSB knows about it. Or maybe they were
they
gonna
don't care.
blackmail him or they don't care. But I'm like, really?
They gotta know.
Yeah, maybe they were gonna that's what I was saying. Maybe they're gonna blackmail him with it if he said no or balked at something that they want him to do.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, but you know, this is the second time that Lisa and Drew have been on an adventure together because Drew's intro, like Cameron Matheson's intro is Drew was like them in Crete together. So this kind of like makes sense. Like Drew and Lisa have been, but Lisa was like, no, this is my hero. Like she was not.
Don't be coming for her, Drew. Like almost like she's in love with him or something.
Don't even put it out there. Um, I mean, but that's also like, I don't know. I don't want to get too excited about like how messy this is because I remember this is before we started recording together. I remember how excited I was during Nixon Falls, right? It was just like mess on top of mess on top of mess. Nina just kept doing stuff. It was like she was like, go back home and be messy. She would get a FaceTime and be messy. She like put Peter August on the loose like a mess. I was like, this is gonna be so good when we get the fallout. And then it was not. And
Right.
so I don't want to get my hopes up because I mean, like the thing about it is I don't like Nina, but I also understand like, you know, soaps will have characters I like, I dislike, whoever. It's not as if I want her to be forever punished. That's not necessarily what I need. But there was for me, there was no like actual arc of redemption. And that's kind of like the, I don't know, the viewing contract that we do that like you do a certain amount of mess and then you get knocked down a peg. And that just didn't happen. So even the stuff with like Wiley, you kind of bought that on yourself. Like like I don't feel bad for you after the Wiley hearings because like you did that. You
Right.
didn't allow Michael and Willow any time to like, you know what I mean? Like it was so anyway, it just I'm not getting my hopes up that this will be messy because I got my hopes up after Nixon Falls and it wasn't messy.
Yeah. My only other comment was, and this is about Cameron. Oh my goodness, that punch was so out of like left field. I was just like not expecting it, and he was not sorry. Literally,
No.
he was not sorry. He didn't apologize. He looked like he would do it again. I was like, okay, and I don't know why I was shocked at it because I still, no matter what, like Cameron being the action hero, being the Drew person, it still is just not connecting with me as
Like,
much.
what is Ryan
So
really doing?
I'm like, he's like, I don't see him as the action hero. But then when he just rolled up into the quarter maze, it was like, pow. I was like, I was like shocked. I was like, oh.
I
So
loved all of the reactions. I love Tracey being like, well, like this is your son. Like Olivia was just like, listen. So like BLQ believes Ned, but Olivia probably doesn't. I'm
right.
interested to see like how this like goes out because Olivia is really never on Ned's side. Um,
Right.
just like
That poor marriage is crazy.
makes sense. Like what you want to do? So I'm interested to see how it plays out. Because I'm ready for somebody to be like, this doesn't make sense that Ned did it. Um, yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Right. Do you have another hot take?
No, I'm out of hot takes.
Can
I
I
was
talk about a
annoyed.
little bit of a rumor though?
Huh?
I heard, I know you, I heard on Twitter that Sexy Portia Bro is coming back. I hope
I
that's
can
true.
see it with him and
They're not liking who folks are putting him together with, but
who we want to put together with.
Maxie or Liz. So,
I will lose my first of all, give me Spixie. There is no reason to be like trying to hook Maxie up with somebody different.
mhm.
Give me Spixie. I don't really care about Liz, so whatever. Like, no, I want to see him with Jordan.
I want to see him with this beautiful young Black woman that comes onto General Hospital who's running for office. The character is Tonya Love. She's running for at large city council. And she is, she has a mystery. And maybe,
She might even wear glasses.
she wears glasses, lovely different colored glasses depending on her mood. And she has no ties to General Hospital, but as soon as Portia's brother walks in the hospital, she's walking through looking for the mayor to get an endorsement, and they see each other across the room, and it's love at first sight. And he's like, I need to move to Port Charles. Portia, give me a job. That's it. I'm writing it for you. Text me, Frank. Willing to do an audition, even though apparently, I have natural abilities. So just, call me.
Y'all just witnessed live action fan fiction writing. Uh, it was amazing. No notes.
Yeah.
No notes. But no to Maxie and no to Liz. Like, please. So no, I no. Anyway, I can't. Well, so I think new Christina starts either next week or the
Oh,
week
that's
after.
yeah, that's another possibility. New Christina, because she's gonna be a little older, right?
I think so.
Mhm.
And then also, but this is just like news. And then new Molly, or like there's a temp Molly that's coming because Haley was in a car accident and is recovering. So hope speedy recovery to her. Yeah, but there'll be this temp Molly. So we
Who's
shall
that
see.
Molly? Do we know?
Huh?
Who's Temp Molly?
I don't know her.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I saw like a picture. I don't know how long she's gonna be around. Yep. The other thing, just like news about Sunday Shift. So if please follow us on Instagram because that is the only place that we have social media. I have deactivated our Twitter for lots of reasons, but the main one is I'm just really tired of Elon Musk and the right wing nonsense that he is pulling. We also are just barely on. We post the show and that's it. We don't really interact on Twitter. I'm actually trying to figure out how to like move my whatever following I have on my main off to some other um I don't know, network or something. I don't know if y'all have heard that like Tucker Carlson is going to be doing his show on Twitter. There's also just like if you don't know the story of Jordan Neely, who was killed on the New York subway by like a violent vigilante. Like Elon has been like uplifting that story and like uplifting the vigilante and like making excuses. And so just like having I just don't want to have multiple accounts on this website built for him. And so my main account I do use for like work and uplifting like things around race and class and gender struggles. And so that feels like it makes sense, but we are not really like active participants from our account on soap Twitter, so it just didn't make any sense. So I'm hoping myself as a person to be off Twitter soon, but Sunday Shift is off. So if you don't find us, it's not because we blocked you or whatever. It's because it's because we have chosen to remove the page. So follow us on Instagram, and I will try to be more diligent about posting there. Obviously, you're gonna always find something on Tuesday for Trina Tuesday, but I'm gonna try to be more diligent and try to do way more posts on Instagram because that is the only social media we have now.
I will try to. I don't necessarily have a great Instagram following because all I do is just post pictures. I'm not really a conversationalist on Instagram. I don't not really knowing how to navigate it. And but I will try. I'm at TD Love 5, same at. So if y'all want to find me there,
Yeah.
maybe you guys can prompt me to say something, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, Instagram. So
There you go. Are you ready for next week?
sure. Are we
All
gonna
right,
be
maybe. Um, Sunny is taken by surprise. Dex's news leaves Jocelyn shaking.
mm, they got
Gladys
him.
takes a loss. Scott pitches a new plan. Brooklyn reports for duty.
Oh yeah.
Tuesday, Nina arrives at Carly's. What? Robert seeks romantic advice. Diane puts her cards on the table. Sasha faces her fears. Cody rides to the rescue.
Oh who?
I don't know. Um, Wednesday, Robert does some digging. Dante reaches out to Mac. Portia seeks out Ava. Alexis makes an offer. Esme ponders her options. Thursday, Jordan offers congratulations. Alexis gets an invitation. Sam is thrown. Molly is troubled. Holly makes a big decision.
Holly, she making a decision to go out of town because
I
I
hope
don't know
so.
what her purpose
I'm sorry, that was rude. But
is.
yeah, I hope so. As I repeated, that was rude, but I
That
was
was rude, but I hope so.
um Friday. Taggart advises Portia. Michael updates Dante. Jocelyn has a request for Sunny. Sasha supports Nina. Scott meets with Cody. we'll see. I mean, sometimes these like spoilers don't mean a whole lot. There was like a spoiler. I was like thinking there was gonna be like some drama or something because there was like a spoiler from last week that
With
was
some,
like Sasha shuts down Carly or something.
yeah, and
I
I
was
was
like,
like, okay, I can't wait to see it. And all she does is says, "Yeah, no, I'm not ready to go on my own."
I was
Anyway,
like, what? Another one, another thing I was annoyed by.
I was like,
Just another annoyance.
I thought she was gonna be like, "Leave Nina alone" or something like that.
Right, or like,
No, that wasn't.
yeah,
It was nothing.
yeah. It was not. Mm-mm.
It's not giving, like you said.
Anyway, so that's our week. Again, follow us on Instagram. Leave messages in the comment section. We like to talk to folks when they do. And we will see you next week.
Mhm. Oh, and shout out to our YouTube fans. Y'all be commenting a lot, and I'm gonna try to respond to that too.
Thanks, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon next week.